then from there we'll take questions from the house.
Okay.
Okay, so over the past year, there have been many social issues that have erupted on campus, such as the gender-based violence in the country, the homophobia present in residences, and the alcohol policy in university spaces. What do you think the Prim's responsibility is when it comes to navigating these issues in the house and ensuring that Harmony is a safe and diverse space for all?
Okay, can everybody hear me? I think as Prim, it's your responsibility to hear from the house what they feel about the whole situation, and to, together with the house, come to a conclusion and how you're going to approach the whole situation, like gender-based violence. But it's not like individual decision to be made at all. I feel like it's because everyone needs to be heard. I feel like to ask the house and ask everyone, what do you feel? And to actually try and make a decision then that won't upset people, but don't come across also like we know everything and the university is wrong and this, but to make a decision that is thought through and that is backed by the house. I feel like this year actually I really look up at Mari for doing it correctly, in my opinion, and asking the house our opinion and how we want to approach it. And I feel like I'm gonna would do it the same way Mari did.
Thank you so much for that response. If we could just have some raised hands for questions. Like we did last time, I'll take 3 hands at a time. We'll go through those questions and then we'll go to another round. And just a reminder, while people are putting their hands up now, questions are not an opportunity for a back and forth type of conversation or debate. So once Mags has answered your question, we will move on to the next one, purely because we don't have all the time in the world. So please raise your hands or pop a message in the chat if you'd like to ask a question. Jenna, Meg, and Jess. So Jenna, you may start.
Hi, Mag. Sorry, it's actually Anya. I'm just using Jen's laptop. Hello. So my question is, during your speech, you spoke a lot about you want the house to be like a close-knit family and you want it to be a place where we call each other sisters. But obviously there will be girls that don't always get along and would disagree about certain topics. So how are you planning to create a unity for your vision to come true as the house being closed and like a comfortable space?
Okay, I'm going to try and use my family as example, just because I feel like it's my reference for having a healthy family. In our family, when we don't agree about stuff, we would actually communicate about it. We'll talk about it. We'll be like, okay, why don't I agree with this? And actually hear each other out on it, but then decide, okay, we don't agree with this, but let's agree to disagree, if it makes sense. I think the only thing that can actually bring unity in our house is the true meaning of love. Because it's very easy to say, okay, yes, we're going to have unity in our house, but without true love, and the definition of love depends on, people have different opinions. My definition of love and your definition might change, but unconditional love, that I might not agree with what you're saying right now, but it doesn't change how I see you as a person, and it doesn't change my opinion about what you say. So to actually take away the person's opinion, because their opinion is them as well, but to discern between their opinion and who the person is as well, because I feel like a lot of times we look at the person through one decision that they've made or one choice that they stand by, and actually it's not always just that one thing, but to discern between, okay, we might not disagree on this one thing, but we agree on so many other things, to focus on that rather than the thing you don't agree on. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks so much, Max, for your answer. Meg, your question.
Hi, Mags. So I asked the previous candidate a similar question, but I just wanted to hear from you. Is there something that you would like? You can choose either. If you would either like to change from the current HC's term, or that you would like to take with you from your term.
I think something that I would take with is the communication. I feel like we all communicated between each other quite well. If we didn't agree about something, we would voice our opinions, especially in the HG meetings on Mondays. And for me, it felt like a place, okay, I can voice my opinion. So that's something that I would like to see next year as well, where the HG as well feel comfortable in the group to actually communicate with each other and be like, I don't agree with this. And to talk about it. Why don't you agree with this? Okay, but how can we meet each other halfway? Because the whole thing with that is not to take away the one person's decision, but actually to find a middle point. Something that I won't want to take along. Now I really have to think. Well, if I can take away all the online meetings that we have now, that would be great, because it would be awesome to see people face to face. But I can't really think of something at this current moment.
Thanks, Mags, and thanks, Megan, for the question. Jess, your question.
Hi, Max. This is also a question that I'm asking everybody, but it's kind of like a hypothetical situation. So in the event that you're Prim and you're faced with an incident where some of your HT members bring the house's name into dispute, and they have to face like a disciplinary action, there's like 3 questions with it. How would you go about dealing with the matter? How would you ensure that you stay impartial? And to what extent do you think the house should be involved in this specific type of disciplinary process?
Okay. So I've been on the other side of the disciplinary process last year, which I'm just going to be honest, it wasn't like a nice process, but I know it had to be done, and I understand the reason for it. So I think I actually back the whole disciplinary thing in the way that if there's if someone does something that mustn't have been done, or that I personally don't agree with, to ask the rest of the HG and the disciplinary com, because I think we do have one, or we should get one quickly. We do have one currently, but to also make the decision, and then as soon as the decision is made, to actually just tell the house, okay, we have this disciplinary, I know that there is this whole thing, you're not allowed to tell everyone about the disciplinary thing, because it is sometimes like it depends on how personal it is. If it like vandalizes the house's name, I feel like you can tell the house, because the sooner the whole house knows, the better for everyone, because otherwise it's different opinions people hear from different people, and it just becomes this big like gossip thing here and there. So I feel like to just from the beginning get the facts out, and then involve the house as quickly as possible, but then to give the responsibility for the disciplinary com to take the actions that needs to be done. Yeah.
Thanks, Jess, for your question, and thanks for your response, Mags. Okay, new set of hands. Nicholas, you had your hand up and now it's down, so I'm going to assume you don't have the question anymore. Otherwise, just raise it again quickly. But so, Trichet, I see you have your hand up. Anyone else? Sam? And is that all it? I think so. Okay. And then, so I'm not sure how much time we have left, so let's try to keep the questions concise and so we can get through them. So Trichet, go for it.
I don't know if I'm on. Am I? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So Marguerite, I just wanted to know, how are you gonna work with people who identify as non-binary, as gender? How are you gonna make them feel included in harmony? Because we always refer to the the girls living in harmony as ladies, and not everyone identifies as female. So how are you going to make those people identifying as non-binary genders feel included in the spirit of harmony and in the spirit of being a student and everything they get while living in harmony?
Okay. I think that's something that the past HCs from the past few years also have tried to change with the humans of harmony and not just the ladies of harmony and stuff like that. It is a difficult topic because people have different opinions with that. But like I said, in general, when I look at you as a person, I don't actually see do you identify yourself as male or female or what you identify yourself with. I really just want to see you for who you are. So because that doesn't really change how I see you. And I feel like to get that whole culture in harmony, to try and to emphasize that who you identify yourself with doesn't define who you are. Because I feel like a lot of time people do hide behind who they identify themselves as. And the real question is, do you know who you are and how you identify the person? Like, who is Trichet? Who is Marguerite? Who is Mari? I'm not the girl that grew up in Mozambique, but I am the girl that, or the person. I identify myself as the person that I'm ambitious about life, take things when it comes my way, and to stop trying to identify or to pinpoint someone under you classify, I can't get the words, you associate yourself with being bi or you this, because I feel like you're taking away the whole thing about, like, just there's so much more to that as well. But to encourage that, to really get a place where the whole unity, where you can really just be yourself, and it goes back to the other thing that I said, to really just love each other for who they are, and a real love, not a fake love, because a fake love people can see straight through. And I feel like you can see in the way that someone else treats someone else, whether they see the person, like in my opinion, whether you see the person how God sees them or how they want to be seen. So yeah, that's it.
Thanks for your question, and thanks for that. We're running out of time, so Mags, if you could give briefer answers to the next two questions, just so we can get through both of them. No, it's fine. I just want to make sure the people who have their hands up get a chance to ask their question and have it answered. So, okay. Sam?
Can you hear me?
You're a little bit soft, but I can hear.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so I know that you want to do the whole, we must love each other thing, but how will you ensure that marginalized and unrepresented groups of people feel welcome, like outside of res? Like if we have to go to a social and stuff like that, how will you ensure then that we are still included and that we are still welcome in spaces outside of harmony?
Okay, I think with that, to work together with the social HC or the other HCs, to not just have socials that are like genderly based, like, okay, doing this or that, but to get ideas for socials from the house as well, where you can do stuff that incorporates everyone, to incorporate everyone, that they feel that they want to do it, because I feel like a lot of stuff that the university makes, gives ideas for socials are a lot of time, okay, but it's now a girl res with a guy res, but to actually have like girl res socials with another girl res socials. I think it's also with like, I think I had social HC this year as my portfolio, but to just like ask the house, okay, what do you guys want to do? Who you guys want to have socials with? Okay, let's do that. Because in the end, you expect that group of people that have the social, that's in your social comm, to actually be there. So you're working with them.
Okay, thank you so much. Very quickly, Alzette, is Alzette, right? Can you ask your question, please? And then Mags, if you can give a very brief answer, and then we'll be done. No, it's fine.
Hi, Mags. I just want to know, last year you were put in a position where some people pushed for you to be removed from HC. What did you take from that experience and how would you use that to your advantage to better yourself as a Primoria?
Okay, so I learned a lot about what people, that the way I grew up isn't always like the right way, or the way I think isn't always like the generally accepted way of thinking. So I realized how to work with conflict and also to actually communicate with it, and to build on it, and not to look at something and be like, okay, there's no way going through, but to actually be like, okay, there was a rough patch, let's get over it.
Thank you so much for your question and thanks for your answer, Mags. Chloe, am I right that we are out of time? Yes, okay. Thank you so much, Mags, for answering our questions. Thank you, everyone, for asking your questions. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. And yeah, good luck with everything. And thank you so much. Okay, now.